For over 8 years, Stellaris has remained the ultimate exploration-focused space fantasy strategy sandbox, allowing players to discover the wonders of the galaxy and tell their own unique stories. Today, we're circling back to the beginning to revisit the vision of Stellaris. This is our guiding tool as a development team to ensure that even as the game evolves and changes to meet the needs of our player base, it still stays consistent with its core over the years.
Stellaris to me is an equal part interactive sandbox and kind of like a giant sci-fi ant farm where you can have as much or as little input as you want on it, and it's just a really fun place to kind of see both whatever you're doing be created in a giant living world, or just on a hands-off kind of watch it all spiral out of control.
Stellaris is a vehicle for me to live out my spiritualist, isolationist, mushroom people fantasy.
That's basically my personal project. I've been on it for nearly 8 years at this point, so it was my first big project in the gaming industry in total.
It's a very, very good strategy game, which I am incredibly lucky to work on. I've been playing it since release day, so that I'm able to influence its design and direction is a very strange feeling.
Well, Stellaris is a game where I can keep exploring as long as I keep playing it. From the start to up until 2,000 hours I have. I will keep exploring and I will keep finding new things. That's what it means to me, exploration.
It's the stories mostly. The emergent narratives that come out during gameplay, the choices you make, the way these all affect each other, that sort of inherent chaos in the game. That's what produces the new stories every time you play, and that's what makes it what it is.
You can play very differently. Sometimes you can be good, sometimes you can be bad, sometimes you can isolate yourself, and sometimes you can be the friend of everyone. You have so many different ways of playing.
The people who work on the game are what makes Stellaris what it is. The people who have this really deep passion for the work that we do and the quality that we create, the type of content that we build. We want to create a game that we love to play. So in my mind, it's the people who work on the game.
There's no other game where you can boot it up and say, I want to be a megacorp of gospel-preaching space ducks that conquer the galaxy using archaeologically recovered war robots and then become emperor of the space UN. I don't know any other game that does that, and I think that's like a core part of Stellaris' identity.
When I was attacking a fellow developer in a multiplayer game, I was kicking at their butt, and then their vassal got the Grand Herald. And at 12 years into the game, a Titan showed up, and I had to surrender.
I was a Stellaris noob when I was hired, and I was really bad at it. I'm still pretty bad at playing Stellaris, but I worked really, really hard to reach the end game, and I got my ass kicked by the Crisis, of course, and then I was like, no, I can figure this out. I can make a better fleet. And I did it as a machine intelligence. And I was like, yes, I conquered the galaxy, and I was super excited about it, and I wanted to share this with my team. So I took a screenshot of myself having conquered the entire galaxy, and I posted it in our open channel, and one of my team members was like, actually, there's a single wormhole system there that you didn't conquer, and I had to figure out, oh yeah, there's like wormhole technology as well. So it was really like, this game is never ending.
Probably the unusual things that happen during these games. The unexpected. When an incoming asteroid gets taken out right before it hits a pre-FTL civilization, that sort of thing. These things that sort of add to the universe as a whole, those are my favorite moments.
To me, it was the 8th-year anniversary trailer. Seeing Veer taking us through different systems and showing that, oh, there are different systems and are kind of connected, and showing each and every event that has happened in DLCs over the years. That was a unifying moment to me that, yes, this is what it means to be part of the community. This is what it means to be part of Stellaris as a player, and I want to be a part of that. That's why I started playing a lot more.
I was living in Seattle at the time, so it was like me just alone in some share house, getting this new game onto my laptop, and I think I played for about 3 days straight. Playing as like a plant empire tree guy, just sending my tendrils all throughout the galaxy. Until then, I was like, wait, there's so many other options. Why do I just keep playing this one? I could start a new one. So I think I started like 6 or 7 games in the first 3 days.
I played Stellaris on launch. I used one of the anniversary portraits, the Hydra. And my goal was to go out there and taste every single species in the galaxy. So even before there was a devouring swarm, I tried to be one.
And you succeeded.
Of course.
What do I remember about my first game of Stellaris? I think I remember the first game and the next 99 games after that being me having a great time with no idea what I was doing and just getting absolutely slapped every single time. I have a eidetic memory of the very first time I actually won my first war, and then I immediately lost afterwards. But that brief moment of victory probably kept me going for another 100 hours.
I did not research colony ships immediately. That was the biggest mistake you can possibly do in that build. Because you have no guarantee you will ever get them again.
I remember not knowing anything. That was sort of capturing that sense of wonder. That's what I remember the most. Seeing what could happen next, and then meeting the crisis. The crisis, that didn't end well.
I remember being confused and kind of overwhelmed, but the one thing I remember was I was playing as UNE and I met Commonwealth after a while, and I did not realize there was a special thing between UAD and Commonwealth seeing each other. There was a whole story of, oh, you are our lost colony. It blew my mind, that connection with these two specific empires being a thing, and it opened my mind to the possibilities of there being so many different interactions between so many different empires.
I had not heard of Stellaris until I actually interviewed for the job. And then I was like, oh, so I should play this game in preparation for the interview. But I'm not a PC gamer. I'm like a PlayStation person. I'm sorry. And so I was like, I better buy this. So I bought the console version of Stellaris. So my first game of Stellaris, I was like, oh, what a nice little thing this is. And yeah, shout out to all of our dedicated console players. I feel you, and we're working as hard as we possibly can to fill up your game with all of the amazing content that it deserves.
Some of the old FTLs, because I chased an AI around that was ping-ponging between two systems. They could move freely and I could not. It was frustration to the maximum for about 30 minutes.
So the feature that I'm probably gladdest we reworked are the 3 different FTL types. As much as I loved having the different flavors of empires, it meant that warfare ended up being people chasing each other around trying to catch each other. Switching everyone to hyperlanes, that added the geography to the galaxy, and I think that improved things overall.
I like what we've done with the planet system and the moving away from tiles, because it allowed the more interesting job system to come into play, but at the cost of performance. And if we could improve the performance from that, it'd be better. But the fact that you can now have this planet has these unique jobs that produce minerals and alloys, as opposed to just these jobs produce one thing. It makes things more special and allows you to shine a bit of extra light on, yeah, this weird anomaly that happened. Now there's space-time researchers on this planet. It's a nice thing that can add a lot of both systematic and narrative depth.
Empire creation, I would say, because back when the game first came out, civics were really boring, origins didn't even exist, and since then we've managed to add so much flavor and so much fun roleplay potential into all aspects of the game.
To the moon. No, wait, we've been there. There's still a ton of things for us to explore out there. Naturally, I'd like to finish off the Ascensions. Biological and psionic ascensions need to catch up to where the machine ones are right now. And then after that, there's still a lot of places for us to visit.
I think where we're heading right now is the place I want to keep seeing us go, where we get into the more weird, esoteric science stuff like in Cosmogenesis and Machine Age, and also stuff with the Shroud, and maybe even things going into the future with more biological ascension. I think just the weirder and more boundary pushing we do, the better Stellaris gets.
I'd like us to look into reducing the mental burden on players. Especially in the early game, there's an awful lot of pop-ups, like, you've met a new empire, you've discovered an anomaly, you've got this archaeology site, you've got this event hint from your origin. And although our message settings are rather thorough and can be tweaked to change that, it's very overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing. And I'd like us to explore ways of making it less overwhelming for newer players.
I want us to cover trash and garbage. I want garbage planets. I want to shoot it at my enemies, have the biggest trash heap in the galaxy.
So I'm going to be a cop-out here and go with prosperous unification. So if you don't want the cop-out answer, it would be void dwellers because I like playing with habitats.
Be dragons. So having just your pet dragon on your planet, just protecting you, and you just feed it. I like that.
I'll give that one to Hadrian. Knights of the Toxic God, because it has the most narrative by far. And every patch it gets buffed in some secret way.
Well, prosperous unification would be cheating, so I'm going to pick Broken Shackles.
I would choose Broken Shackles.
I think prosperous unification.
It would have to be my own creation, the Progenitor Hive, because it's 100% balanced.
I do have to cheat a bit because I would say Broken Shackles or Payback because they're technically kind of two sides of the same origin. Whoa! All right.